Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 10 best PlayStation 2 racing games. Which racing game did you play most on PS2? Did it make the list? Let us know down in the comments. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Jak X Combat Racing. Look out! With Naughty Dog having pulled off a successful racing game already with 1999's Crash Team Racing, a Jak and Daxter racing game didn't sound too far-fetched. Still, Jak X Combat Racing was not what we were expecting, and we mean that in a good way. What you had was this fusion between arcade racing and vehicular combat as you picked up power-ups to activate weaponry, refill your boost, and more. Plus, you had an assortment of characters from across the franchise's history between the first game and Jak 3, not to mention all those extra goodies from the cross-save datas. An excellent way to cap off Jak and Daxter's days on the PS2, if we say so ourselves. Juiced. At launch, some outlets had criticized Juiced for being, quote, too repetitive. Isn't repetitiveness a part of a video game's DNA from the get-go, especially racing games? We'd argue it works in favor of a game like Juiced. All you need is a good set of controls that make every car handle like a dream, and a kick-ass soundtrack to jam to as you burn rubber. Juiced also provided enough customization options to allow for all sorts of ways to make your cars look the way you want. At the end of the day, what we got was a solid and competent arcade racer to zone out and tear the roads with. ATV Off-Road Fury 2. Back in the days of the 6th generation of console gaming, it felt like off-road racing games were a dime a dozen. However, the one that truly stands out even today is ATV Off-Road Fury 2. Here, nabbing first place was easier said than done, as you would have to adjust your position while in the air to nail landings and maintain your speed. There was more of a reliance on the game's physics, not just going fast all the time. Regardless of whether you're deep into the world of off-road racing or not, ATV Off-Road Fury 2 is a brilliant game to play. And this is coming from somebody who really did not care much for ATVs before playing this. This game's awesome. You should go try it. Road Trip Adventure. Those itching for a racing adventure similar to what we saw in games like Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong Racing, they found solace here. Road Trip Adventure was one of the wackiest racing games we had come across back in the PS2 days, with its ridiculous plot and cartoony visuals. Taking part in races wasn't the only thing you had to worry about though. You had to use your winnings to buy new parts and upgrade your car, or sometimes spend it on buildings to improve and populate your city. Yes, there were city management aspects to this game. It's such a weird yet interesting blend of genres, and it's a real shame that the game was only ever re-released in 2012 on PS3 in Europe only. People missed out on this game, man. LEGO Racers 2. Whereas the original LEGO Racers game was more of your standard racing game fare, LEGO Racers 2 attempted to take things a step further. This sequel widened the road for players by allowing them to fully explore the world, giving them different characters to talk to, different landmarks to discover, and so on. And just to diversify the gameplay, there was an assortment of minigames to partake in between the races. Visually, it isn't all that impressive, yet it was still enough to satisfy any kid who enjoyed Legos or racing. Plus, you know, you get to build your own car with Lego bricks. Like, who's not gonna turn that down? Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. Midnight Club 3 was already an excellent arcade racer with its astoundingly detailed vehicles and environments, fantastic track design, and controls. So why is the remix getting specific recognition? Simply because of how it was an expanded version of the original. You had more vehicles to choose from, many of which were not in the original release. Then you had more maps to race and battle on, including the classic Tokyo map from Midnight Club 2. And of course, that soundtrack got even more tasty jams to race to. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is why many of us long for the day Rockstar returns to the Midnight Club series, but we suppose it lives on, sort of, in the form of GTA Online. Splashdown, Rides Gone Wild. Admittedly, Splashdown is the strangest entry we have on this list, not because it's a jet ski racing game, but rather because of its presentation. Can you think of any other jet ski game or racing game that has you racing down a river next to dinosaurs or barreling through a tropical island before it turns into a war zone? It had an explosive and infectious personality unlike anything we had seen from the genre, and quite frankly, it's sorely missed. What hurts most was that there was going to be a sequel on Xbox until developer Rainbow Studios got busy with MX Unleashed. Those guys are still making MX vs. ATV games, by the way, and from what I hear, they're not too bad. But when can we get Splashdown again? Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. It was hard deciding on which Need for Speed game to put on here. The Underground games were so great with their presentation and selection of imported cars. However, Hot Pursuit 2, it still gets us today, and it's all because of that focus on high-speed chases. There is so much excitement in trying to outrun the law or playing as the man and calling up hazards like spike strips to make runners crash and burn. And those two different styles of play are what give Hot Pursuit 2 so much replay value, especially when you have someone to play with. Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 is not just the best game in the franchise, but it's possibly the best racing game put out by Sony's first-party studios. With the exception of Crash Team Racing, of course. Nothing tops that. No portion of the PS2's hardware was wasted here, as vehicles and courses were designed with immense detail and presentation. This, alongside the controls and mechanics, allowed Gran Turismo 4 to reach a level of realism unmatched by many other racing sims at the time. If you didn't think Polyphony Digital or director Kazunori Yamauchi were racing fans before, they certainly made it obvious here, with the various motorsports and cars represented in fine visual quality. These guys love their motorsports. Burnout 3 Takedown. Now, if you want to talk about the absolute best racing game on PlayStation 2, it begins and ends with Burnout. More specifically, Burnout 3 Takedown. Much love for Burnout Revenge, but Takedown, it's bliss. Burnout 3 was pure adrenaline as you boosted your way down courses while wrecking your opponents in humiliating ways. There was a power fantasy behind dominating the roads, while also forcing players to think about parts of the track where they can send rivals flying into obstacles. You could even get points if you getting wrecked caused other players to wreck. The mayhem had no limits here, and that's why Burnout 3 Takedown remains the best in the franchise and one of the best games on PlayStation 2. Did you enjoy this video? Check out some of our other videos here on MojoPlays, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos every day.